Hi Java developers. This is a continuation class of the Java basics. Uh, Last class we have discussed about the methods. Right now the final thing comes up here, that is a variables, Java variables. Let's open the notepad and here variables. So, so far, like what we have learned, for any object contains the properties and then actions. So, how can we create how can we define object in technical way? Like we create a class, and we learned about that. The similar way, we also create a methods to define a actions, right? So we also learned about them, right? Classes and methods, both we learned. Now the very core fundamental, the final topic is variables. This is very important again. So we already discussed, right? So for any action, I mean to say for any object, it contains a properties, variety of properties, right? Like a brand name and brand price. Example, mobile. If you take mobile, what is the name of the mobile? We call it as a Samsung or else iPhone. That's fine. And what is the price? Price is a double, I mean to say double data type, right? So it's a different variety of data types we can define. Basically, in the variables, what we can define, we can store some data for the processing. Okay, here in Java, we have a two different type of variables, two types of variables, two types of variables in Java. What are those? One is local variables and second one is global variables. Global variables. And very important remember thing is, we call it, these local variables also call it as method level variables. Okay, method level variables. And remember, these local variables also call it as a method level variables, and we define these local variables inside the method only. We cannot, I mean, just telling you, this is, we can write it inside the method. Okay, and the similar way, we call this, you know, the global variables, we call it as a class level variables. Class level variables. We can define outside the method. I mean to say, in the class level, we can define these variables. Okay, this is just a theoretical thing. So let's go to the syntax. Let's go to the syntax. Syntax is access modifier, access modifier, and data type. You can write data type and then variable name and equal symbol and value. Ends with semicolon. So every variable should be ends with semicolon. Okay, this is the syntax. So access modifier. So we can see access modifier and then data type, right? And variable name of the variable. What it's completely pure, completely to it's archives, but there is a standard also, coding standard. Okay, and equal operator and then value. What are the value we can assign it? So this is about the syntax of the variable. Okay, we have to understand syntax of the variable is that. And some important notes. What are those? Number one, applicable access modifiers. All access modifiers. Okay, all access modifiers are applicable. So we have to understand here, first thing is the very type of variables, right? Local variables and global variables. And very important thing here is applicable access modifier. We have to segregate here. So for local variables, okay, local variables, for local variables, only default access modifier is applicable for local variables, okay, because we define these variables inside the method, right? So in that case, only default access modifier is applicable. And then global variables, global variables. So for global variables, all access modifiers are applicable because we define inside the class, right? It's a class level variables, global variables we call it as. So all access modifiers are applicable. Where? For the global variables. That is very important to understand. Okay, local variable we call it, and only applicable access modifiers are only default access modifier is applicable for the local variables. If we define a variable inside as a global variable, then all access modifiers are applicable. Okay, fine. And second important thing is data type. Data type. So for the global variables or local variables, doesn't matter, but all data types, both primitive and primitives and non-primitives, data types are applicable. Okay, so it's a either local variable or global variable, doesn't matter. So the data types are primitive and non-primitives are applicable here. That is very important thing we have to understand. Okay, the third point, variable name. Very much important things, guys. It is similar to method. Like we already discussed about the method name conventions, method name coding standards. It's not a error basically. It's a coding standard we have to follow. What we learned about the method name. So method name always starts with a lowercase. In case of multiple words are there, each word, second word onwards, each word starts with a capital letter. The similar way, variable names always starts with lowercase. Okay. In case of multiple words, it has the variable name contains multiple words. So second word onwards, each word starts with capital letter. Okay, each word starts with a capital letter. That is our understanding. Very important coding standard. People generally, they can write whatever they wish. Like some capital letter they can start. They starts with a capital letter. They ends with the capital letter. So it's not a proper coding standard, not a proper coding convention. So this is the thing we have to follow. The same as method name also. Okay. So and fourth point, value. So here value is completely what type of what data type we have taken. Based on the data type, we have to assign a value. That is true, right? Example, if you have taken int as a data type and you are assigning, uh, you know, uh, Boolean value, so it is completely two illegal things, right? So here we have defined a data type as a int, and here you are assigning value as a Boolean. So those are two incompatibles, right? So for integers, we cannot assign value as a Boolean value. So it is completely depends on the data type. Depends on the data type we have taken. What data type we have taken. So based on that, we have to provide a value. That is very much important. Okay, that is very, very important. Okay, let's go to some examples. Some examples. Okay, I'm going to create a variable. Example, I'm going to create a private variable. Data type is a int I'm going to take, and then the name of the variable. So here access modifier as a private I have taken, okay, and data type as a uh, primitive data type I have taken. So I can take either primitive or non-primitive, doesn't matter. So in this case, I have taken a primitive as an integer. And and second one from the syntax is third one basically. Here it is a variable name. So let's come to variable name. I'm going to take it as a value as a variable name, or else I can take it as a val, whatever, our wish completely. It's a variable name is completely our wish, but data type we have to follow either primitive or non-primitive. That is important. And access modifiers again. So let's assume this is a global variable. So all access modifiers are applicable. You cannot go beyond that. Of course, we have only four. Okay. What about the value? So value is completely that depends on what data type we have taken here. So we have to define those applicable kind of things. Okay, that is very important. Okay, let's assume your value is 10. If you write in the value as a true, right? So obviously it is a problem. Definitely it's a problem, right? Why? Because here we have taken an int as a data type and we are assigning, Boolean as a value. So those are two, illegal kind of thing, or else completely different data type and different value we're providing. So make sure it should be supported numerics and that int. Okay? Yeah. So this is how we can create a variable syntax. Very much important. Let's go back to the previous discussion here. Let's continue the same method. If you see here, into C equal to A plus B we have defined. So A plus B is the value, into C is the variable we have created inside the method. This is a variable creation inside the method. We call these variables as a local variables because it's a method level variables. Okay, and also applicable access modifier for the local variables only default. If you define other than default, definitely it causes a compile time issue. Okay, very much important thing, guys. We have to understand. And similar way, if I want to define anything, like example here, let's go to the private, uh, you know, int as a data type, and then val, the same one. I'm going to assign 10. So this is a global variable we call this variable, these variables we call it as a global variables. Remember, in the place of int data type, I can define non-primitives also. I can define employee. So if I define employee here, whatever the value we are assigning, that should be employee object only. Okay, that is very important. We have to understand. Means, so whatever data type we take here, the same applicable value we have to assign. That is very important. Okay, like this we can define it, guys. If you take private as a variable name, then obviously no one can access outside. It is available only inside. Okay, so this is a global variable and this is a local variable. Okay, so yeah, these are the things we have to understand, the type of variables, how can we define those variables, and then if you want to change the variable, then yes, that is also possible. Okay. Okay, thanks guys. This is all about the just beginning of the fundamentals. Of course, we have a much more in Java, but just a beginning. So if you understand class method and a variable, class method and variables, then obviously you can understand, or at least you can, by seeing the code, at least you can able to read, or at least to try to you can understand comfortable with the Java projects. If you joined the Java, any software company, then this, if you understand the method, class, and variables, obviously, at least you get some comfortable after by seeing the code. Okay, that's it, guys. We'll meet in the next class. Thank you.